She's gone while I was down. The walk-away story you should be aware of. Hi there. My wife cheated on me earlier this year, and when I admitted myself to the hospital for bad thoughts because of what happened, she moved out during the 3 days I was there. I am still living there, but our bills will be coming due very soon. Does anyone know if she is still responsible for half? I will probably seek legal counsel soon, but if anyone knew in general what happens in these types of cases, I would be very appreciative. As far as the hospital visit is concerned, I arrived and called my wife and her parents, all very close to me, left a message about needing clothes and some personal effects, but no one took my call. Everyone in her family immediately shut me out, and this was before finding out she moved out. She called me a full 2 days later to tell me, even though she left during this time, it was the best decision I ever made. Like I said, I was suicidal and I started on meds that are working for me. I did not think I would make it through, and I was okay, even though the problem was compounded by her calling and being ice cold to me. She said only 3 days prior that she wanted to make things work and that she would love me forever. I was only in the hospital for 3 days and I went to every therapy session offered. It was good for me. I've been out 7 weeks now, and it's still hard. Unrequited love is pretty tough to go through with someone you have known for 15 years and have been married to for 9. And I'm 32. All I can do is take care of myself now. I put so much into our marriage that I neglected my own needs and wants. I gave her everything I could give and it wasn't enough. I take ownership of my failings in the marriage, but she places the blame squarely on me, even though she is one who cheated. Took my son out of his school 5 weeks before the end of the year and left me while I was seeking help for a condition she helped create. I thought we had a pretty damn good marriage. Communication is key, people. I hope no one ever has to know this pain. To give you a bit of history, yes, I have been depressed for quite a few years. But that was my first trip to the mental health facility. I never dealt with the depression and was never diagnosed. I tried getting on antidepressants through my general practitioner, but they all gave me severe insomnia, so I gave up after the 4th or 5th drug I tried. After I found out about the cheating, I handled it pretty well at first, as good as one can. After a few weeks had passed, and we had started going to marriage counseling, she eventually told me she still had feelings for him. And that's when I spiraled out of control. I was not violent to her, and I have never been in our entire 9-year marriage. Instead, I was violent toward myself, and did say I would kill myself if we did not make it. I honestly thought I wouldn't make it, which is why I sought help before it was too late. Turns out I'm okay, and while I was in the hospital, they finally got me on a good medication. Better late than never. If only my marriage did not pay the ultimate price. I was far from healthy emotionally. I was not trying to be controlling, but clearly, I was. I was being truthful, and I am sure it scared the crap out of her. This only happened after the cheating. Until then, I thought I was in a great marriage. I have so many good memories, and that is saying a lot, having dealt with depression at the same time. When I was with her, I was happy. I just wasn't happy with the world. She said she needed her space when she moved into her parents during my 3-day hospital stay, and I respected that. She also has denied seeing the other guy. She said she wanted to see my progress. The thing is, I started doing things to get myself better. Whether or not she was part of the future picture, she has moved on, and so have I in these past 7 weeks. There is no question that I still love her, but I am focused on my own healing, and, all things considered, I have never been better. Obviously, I would be lying if I said there was no heartache, because I would try and work things out if given the chance. We are very cordial and are working to figure out where we go from here with our house and working out a joint custody plan for our son. The fact is, we are both much better parents separated than we ever were together. I took the first step to getting myself the help I needed, but when I needed her support most, she bolted. Can I understand where she is coming from with that? Definitely. I was not okay. However, she was holding on to feelings for this other person, and it upset her that she did not receive closure in that relationship. He eventually shut her out completely. Those are her words, and she was telling me this from the moment I found out, which is why I couldn't handle it. From then on, she's changed. She is not even the same person I remember at all. I've likened it to my wife having died. It's exactly what it feels like. It has not been a terrible thing though for the marriage's sake it is. On the other hand, it makes this whole process much easier to deal with. I love her but hate the way she continues to treat me. I can't have that in my life right now as I recover. She is actually the biggest threat to my recovery, so I have been staying away from her. Just when I did not think it was possible for my STBX to stoop any lower, I reviewed the divorce papers and she checked a box indicating that there was domestic violence, but that it was not severe, thereby unaffecting custody of our son, for which we will have joint. However, domestic violence has never occurred to any degree. This is a huge problem for me. It's bad enough she just wants me to sign uncontested, but there's no way I am signing my name to a document that contains libel. I do not have an attorney, but at this point, I think I am going to need one. What do you think? She wants to stay out of court, which makes sense since she was unfaithful and abandoned me and our home when I was in the hospital. She has a lot to hide and I have very little. She also makes more money than I do, but somehow I am still paying child support. I don't know, I guess that's why I am here. I certainly don't want any of this, but I also don't want to be with someone who has treated me the way she has. It's been a nightmare. To be honest, I'm scared. All I have ever known was my wife. I married my first girlfriend. Now, I am in my early 30s and I can't help but feel undesirable, insecure and simply lost. My world has been turned upside down in such a short period of time. I still have a great deal of love for my wife, but at the same time, I hate her for treating me like I'm completely disposable and for accepting no blame for anything that has transpired. I forgave her for everything and I own all of my shortcomings in our marriage. I don't carry those burdens anymore, but I can't help but wonder what to do next. Any advice for someone who is still in love but has had their heart destroyed by the one person they never thought could do such a thing? How can I ever trust anyone again? Honestly, I would have zero ties with her, but we do have a 7-year-old son, whom we both love deeply. The good news is we will have 50-50 custody. The problem with this is I have to still see her almost every day with the exchange, and that makes things kind of hard on me. This might sound kind of shallow, but she is just so gorgeous that merely seeing her makes my heart break over and over again. The reality I need to grasp is that, exactly as you said, that person I fell in love with no longer exists. Maybe she never really did. Within her beautiful exterior lies a cold heart. It was the kick in the teeth I needed to realize she was not worth it and that I could make it without her. Because what other choice did I have? They got me on the proper meds and I came out with a self-written action plan, and I was already set up with a counselor and a psychiatrist. It's been almost 3.5 months and I am stable and thriving. That's about the biggest accomplishment of my life thus far. I am being 100% honest when I say I never thought I had enough strength to endure infidelity, separation, and now divorce from the love of my life. That was part of the problem and continues to be. I made her everything. Thankfully, she has been ice cold to me ever since she left and has not flip-flopped at all. So it's been relatively easy, all things considered, to let her go. I don't deserve to be treated the way she has treated me. And you're right, she is not lovable at all right now. I'm in love with her former self, who is long gone. I am trying to make some new friends and keep myself busy so I don't fall into pining for the past or what could have been. I have even been toying with the idea of starting an infidelity support group, since I know I could have used one when I was going through that torture. I might even go back to school to get the education I need to be more qualified to give counsel. Part of me is excited to start a new life, but there is still a part of me that is terrified by the unknown and having a big question mark future. I am in an okay place. I feel so much better about myself than when I was dealing with just the infidelity. That caused so much emotional pain, and I loathed myself and my wife at that point. I was in a dark place, but absolutely no one is worth me feeling that kind of pain for. I can definitely see that now. I wish she would have just told me she wanted a divorce than her putting me through the pain of infidelity and then wanting to divorce me. Could have saved time and a lot of gut-wrenching hurt from betrayal. Every day she found a new way to hurt me, and it still continues. I keep wondering how I can still be hung up on someone who could do this to someone else, especially someone she used to love more than anything in this world. I'll never understand, but I am finding out it's not even worth the effort I put into trying to wrap my head around everything. I just need to let it go, because it doesn't matter. She is gone and wants as little as possible to do with me. End of story. Maybe one day I will meet someone who will value me more than my wife ever could. Until then, I have to live my life for myself and my son, who really needs me to be strong through this. Early this year, I discovered that my wife was cheating on me. She was not too sloppy, but I went with a gut instinct and caught her. I had a hard time with it, but things seemed to improve so much in our marriage, until one night she confessed to still having feelings for this married guy. And she left me in a hurry. I actually still would like to know if she is seeing someone else even though we are no longer living together. She left me to find herself, but I assume this is code for continuing the relationship. She has since served me with divorce papers. So, what is the best way to find out if she is still messing around? Her family is convinced she has done nothing wrong, and I want to have some sort of proof. A month later, I just wanted to give an update. I was served divorce papers finally. At work, right before going on vacation, I came back and filed a response, and now I am waiting. I don't even know what is supposed to happen next. The good news? Well, I picked myself back up and have started to change my life. I'm still going to the gym, and I decided to coach my son's soccer team this year. I also decided to hire a business consultant, one of my past bride clients, to finally help get my photography business back off the ground. It's really exciting stuff. I think about her still, but almost entirely in a negative light. I feel sorry for myself now and again because I have a pretty difficult time talking to and meeting women. I know I have a lot to offer, but I am incredibly shy, and it's been way too long since I have been single. Oh well, our house is gone. I have had no contact at all with anyone in her family, and even our exchanges are cordial and I don't show her any weakness. It's about all I know how to do, but there is still a lot of pain. My life is nothing like I thought it would be. I thought I would retire in that home we were so incredibly blessed with and spend the rest of my days with the woman I chose to marry. Months later. So, I am official, single for the first time after a 15-and-a-half-year relationship. I'm now 33 and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit I have never dated anyone but my ex. But then, I was 17 and I just kind of stumbled upon her online. Honestly, I was doing pretty good on my own, simply coping with the collapse of my marriage. I have been really happy, all things considered. It's been nice developing some new interests and connecting with my 7-year-old son in a much more meaningful way. However, I want to start trying again, although it feels like the first time. I have to say, I'm terrified. I'm coming out of a marriage in which my ex made me feel like crap about myself. To maintain a decent level of confidence, I've been hitting the gym ever since my split. Maybe 5 months now. I'm still pretty slender though, and I know there are better looking guys out there, so I don't even know where to start. I have trouble meeting people at normal places, and even a couple of meetup groups I'm part of. I have a couple of dating apps which are terrible, BTW. Not only does no one want to chat in any meaningful way, but the types of people you meet there, not the kind I want to be seeing. I even stooped so far as to post on Craigslist, for platonic friends though. I actually had a couple of responses there and I met a couple of women, one of which I kind of started dating. She is horrible for me, in every way imaginable, and I know that, but because she is paying me at least a little bit of attention, I am still around. She is the exact opposite of my ex, maybe that's why there is some attraction. Either way, she describes us as being in limbo and she talks frequently about her ex and a couple of other guys that are pursuing her. I loathe myself for not running from this woman. Well, she is not mean to me, but I've lost count of the red flags for her. I think because my last relationship ended horribly, in flames. I don't care at this point. Everyone has their issues. This girl happens to be fun to hang out with and we talk quite a bit. But she drops so many bombs on me. It's something new every time. I found out early on she is a bi, with a crazy desire. During an early convo we had, not sure if it's normal to talk about that on meeting 3. She still describes us as being just a little more than friends. Now, she is telling me about the other men in the picture, which includes 2 exes and a longtime friend. This girl, she is not super pretty, but I happen to find her cute. And she thinks she is God's gift to men. It's messed up though. She doesn't want me to meet anyone in her family yet, and from what I can tell, I out-normaled a lot of them by miles. Is it weird that I just don't give a damn anymore? She'll tell me all these crazy things and literally nothing phases or surprises me. And I have lived an incredibly sheltered life. Maybe it's the meds I'm on, but the old me would have been running for the hills after the first time we met. Also, I would date around, but it's hard for me. I went through enough trouble finally meeting this one. Like I said, I'm incredibly friendly and kind up front when I meet someone, but I don't really initiate any deeper conversation after that. I always just feel out of place. Right now, I am having fun when I'm with her. We go out and have a really great time. We first met as friends, just had some good conversation over coffee. I discovered some interesting things about her and I actually felt comfortable talking about myself, my divorce, etc. I asked her later if it felt more like a date or a meeting as friends and she said more like a date, since it was our very first time meeting. Since then, it's been going downhill the more I find out about her. It's to the point where I wonder how I liked her to begin with, because we seem so entirely incompatible. The thing is, I only feel like crap when I'm not with her. When we are together in person, I enjoy our time a lot. She has been pulling away a bit though, which suggests she is just keeping me hanging on until she figures out if she wants to reconnect with her ex. Whatever, I don't mind being friends with her. Like I said, tons of red flags, so I think my plan should be to back off completely in terms of pursuing her. Because for some reason, I still have been, though I've scaled back quite a bit. A month later, I have moved on. I am living and loving life. Never better, in fact. There is not any aspect of my life I would change. I am seeing someone else right now and it's a pretty damn crazy relationship, but I'm having a blast with it anyway. As far as the ex goes, she is a frigid bee. And although she is pretty hot normally when she is happy, she is pretty damn ugly these days. She looks unhappy at all times. Is it bad that I love that? Everything in my life is better than what it was. I obviously miss the constant companionship I had, but it's really cool that I get so much more time to work on myself. And when I need a companion, I have one. Still don't know if it's totally final, but mediation is done. We agreed on everything, except the DV, which was dropped, so I still have money in the bank. She didn't even go after my retirement. I am 100% happy, even despite being in a weird dating situation. It seemed like everything changed as soon as I made up my mind to fully move on. I think she knew I was still clinging to hope. So, the moment I started being incredibly happy around her and I got involved coaching my son's soccer team, she seemed to get bitter. There's also no doubt she knows I'm with someone else. Things are getting better every single day as my marriage becomes more of a memory. I have good memories, but now, it's time to make some incredible new ones. And in the past 3 or 4 months, I have made some great ones, about few months later. Anyway, I have been on meds that seem to be working okay, except for one small problem. I seriously don't care about anything. True, it helps me sort of shrug off my failed marriage, but I also am having problems caring about my job, my future, my health, etc. It's a tough balancing act because when I am off the meds, I agonize over my failed marriage and pine over my now ex-wife. Not to mention seriously contemplating. Has anyone else ever had this problem? The best way to describe it is that I have no motivation to do anything at all. I would be happy sleeping all day, every day. It's like there is not even any motivation to keep working hard at my job, because I don't care about the consequences of losing it. I have a bit of money saved, so it's not like I would face any financial difficulties for about a year anyway. Somehow, I still have a job. I would try different meds, but I have tried so many, and they all have some pretty serious side effects with me. Is it about time I seek counseling? I'm 33 and I am just floating along in life, dropped out of college to start a family. But obviously that didn't work out. Just kind of don't know what to do anymore. Since I wrote my original story, I nearly did lose my job because of my decision making. I am on 6-month probation, in which I anticipate losing my job of 9 years. It's hard. Sports. Yeah, that would be good, but I can't commit because I have 50 custody and it's a 2-week alternating schedule that does not allow me the same day off each week. I do play volleyball at least once a week, gym twice a week, and coach my son's soccer team as well. So, not all is bad. Maybe it's just my job. Another few months later. So, this new girl comes into my life when I was not really looking, and we started talking and I started to have pretty strong feelings for her, but certainly didn't think much of it being still very new, and not having an incredibly strong physical attraction initially. And now, I literally cannot stop thinking about her, trying to figure out where and when I can see her again. It's wonderful, because I never thought I would have this experience again that I once did with my ex. But I'll be honest, I don't know what to think. My ex was my first and only. I don't know what these feelings mean, or why are they so powerful. I was good alone, and now I feel sick to my stomach when I can't see her. I don't want to rush into another relationship, but she is really in it, and so am I. We both have kids but are keeping them out of it until we feel like we will be a mainstay in each other's lives. I just don't know what to do to curb these feelings a bit without making her feel I am not interested. She is already talking long term, and it's not a put off at all. But she was recently divorced too because of a cheating spouse. I have been divorced since November technically, but my ex has been totally out of the picture for over a year now. Since last April, girlfriend has only been divorced since March. Her ex moved out of state, so now she is a single mother of 3. I think about the new girl constantly. My ex is old news. I loved her, but even before I met my current girlfriend, I could not stand to see her cheating. Lying face. 3. My girlfriend and I have not been intimate, but she wants to be very badly. I would say probably much more than I do right now, even though I am on a dry spell. 4. She is bitter. She talks about the ex all of the time, in a very negative way. Which makes sense, if even half of what she is telling me is true. 5. My biggest concern is that she is really sweet to me, but for some reason does not really care to find out anything about me. She knows nothing of my past. I simply think she is so wrapped up in herself and her problems that she couldn't possibly have time for me. She thanks me for being there for her and listening, but the communication is so one-sided. It's insane. 6. She has stated that not only does she want to sleep with me, but that she wants to start our life together as soon as possible. Move in together and be with me forever, even though she will not get married for a couple of years or so. That last part I can definitely agree with. I guess as I am talking through some of these things, I am realizing that she is rushing this thing way too much. This is the bottom line. If I am honest, I am okay alone and I was not looking for someone. But here comes along someone who is really into me, which I am definitely not used to. She makes me feel really good about myself until I realize I can't gauge her level in actually getting to know me at all. Basically, I feel like I should make this work if I don't want to end up alone. I have so many good qualities, but being ridiculously good looking is not one of them. And that is all anyone seems to be after. Thus, a part of me wants to take advantage of being in a relationship with a girl who is pretty attractive and apparently thinks I am the best guy on the planet. In my marriage, I was not made to feel all that special. At the end, when she cheated, I decided that I was pretty worthless. I have healed quite a bit since that time through meds, church, counseling, the gym, etc. The problem is I still cling to anyone that pays attention to me. And the thing is, I know that once people start to get to know me, they realize I am so much more than they see. My current girlfriend tells me every day that she has no idea what she did to deserve me, and that she has never known what it's like to be with a guy as nice as I am. I know I should break it off, but I don't want to miss out on a potentially good thing. Honestly, I love spending time with her. But now I am just confused about whether it's because of her or just how I feel when I am around her. I would like to think it is both. I like being alone, but at some point, it would be nice to have someone. And that there are not tons of red flags. It's hard to find a decent woman, really hard. Sometime later, a few days ago, I lost my job. I did not get laid off. I made some unintentional mistakes and was consequently fired. I did not want to lose my job. I needed it. I was happy to pay the support, so long as it is being used for the purposes intended. Even though she has yet to provide receipt of his school program fees. I also might mention that she is likely getting financial support from her parents because she got in over her head and is renting a house that costs more than the one we had together. Plus, she recently bought herself a new Lexus. Not only that, but she is also going to school. I am happy for her, so the numbers simply don't add up with what she is supposedly making at work. Meanwhile, I am living with a roommate and I have to move in 3 months, but I won't have a place to go now that I don't have the earnings I did before, so I can't buy or probably even rent a house. My son will have drastically different standards of living when he goes from being with his mom to being with me. It breaks my heart and makes me feel like a failure. I guess my question is this: should I try to petition the court to try and get my support payments temporarily reduced? I have no income right now. I am already looking for a new job a day after losing mine, so I want to be employed. I simply don't think I can make as much as I was at my last job, unless I get back to school. I took getting fired pretty well initially, but now I am starting to panic. I don't want my son to feel that. Oh yeah, I also lost my insurance and I won't be able to sustain paying for my medications for major depression. And I am in the middle of a very intense skin treatment program which requires frequent blood work, visits and more meds. I can't just stop them. I have already started to job hunt and I plan to continue to pay child support since I should be able to manage until I get a new job. Thankfully, I have a small amount of savings and no debt to speak of. I just filed for unemployment insurance, and I am not sure what else to do. I just need to figure out what to do about health insurance to see if I can even afford it for any length of time. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder last year, so I need to make sure I do not lapse on treatment. I need to do something. I think I just need to clear my head and refocus my efforts on what I want to accomplish in life. I can stay local to do that even. I live in X and there is so much to do here that I have not done yet. I gave all of my time and attention to my family, which I don't regret, but I gave so much that I exhausted myself and threw away any other ambitions I might have had. I own my own photography business, so maybe I can start that up again in the meantime to keep myself busy and generate a little bit of income at least. Right now, I am actually looking into going back to school as well. If I finish my degree, and I will have much more potential earning power. Right now, my marketable skills are decent, but I don't have the degree to make me a truly desirable asset. I will make a point to take a vacation before my next job though. I had 3 weeks to take this year anyway, and since I did not use it, I am sure I will get the prorated amount in my final paycheck. My comment: I think this OP would do okay. He seems happy that he is a single parent. Maybe he will attract another better woman in the future. Check out the morning stories if you haven't.